Hello, this is Drew Renner with Summit Homes, Ohio. Oftentimes we get asked, what are some of the red flags when, selling your property? What they're really asking is, like what makes buyers, hesitate or get uncomfortable, when you're selling your home. So in around here in Akron and in Northeast Ohio, especially just with older homes, there's definitely a few things that kind of come up over and over and over again. Personally, I would say that the biggest red flag is just water issues as a whole. If there's water in a basement, even a little, buyers immediately start asking questions. They don't know whether it's something minor, $500 fix, or something structural, $25,000 fix. So their mind kind of wanders and goes worst case scenario, which water just kind of makes people uneasy a little bit. Another thing is electrical is another big one. Older panels, fuse boxes, knob and tube wiring is a big one, which tend to kind of make buyers hesitate. Even cash buyers pay attention to this stuff because it affects safety and future, usability, and especially if there's a buyer with using financing. It might not even be a question of what makes buyers hesitate. They just might, some buyers might not even be able to qualify at all if you have these sort of issues. So that's something to think about. Roof age is a really another big one, or another big area where I guess that hesitation can come in. It's not always about the age of the roof being old. It could just be about uncertainty, and when buyers don't know how old it is or what shape it's in, they just assume it may need attention sooner rather than later, which just could affect, what you get for the home. Sewer, plumbing concerns come up a lot around here too. Old sewer lines backing up, past backups, never having a sewer line scoped can make buyers cautious, and anything underground, underground problems, they feel expensive and unpredictable, which can make a buyer feel uneasy. Another thing that causes hesitation is just kind of, not being transparent as a seller, and I guess lack of disclosure and documentation. If a seller can't explain what's been updated or when major systems were replaced, buyers can feel like they're kind of guessing, and that often doesn't work in your favor as a seller. So red flags don't always like stop a sale, especially with cash buyers. But the more unknowns there are, the more careful buyers become, and just clear communication and transparency goes a long way in keeping things moving.